Hey folks, it's Mark from Top Notch Farms, and it's actually a pretty nice day here. We've been having a pretty terrible August. It's been a ton of rain, and we've had our first few nice days of sun, and so the weather has to do that in, and we're getting a pretty large rain event heading our way. 50 millimeters is being forecast for the weekend, and something I haven't done yet is test our generator setup. So I think now is probably the time to do that. I don't think they're forecasting any rain or anything, or sorry, they're not forecasting any wind with the rain, so I don't imagine we're going to lose power, but I've been meaning to do this anyways, so it's probably a good chance to try it out, make sure everything works, because you know, in the middle of the night, that's probably not the time to start messing with it. So just take you guys along for the trip. So basically what we're going to do, I have my generator set up here. It's under this blue tarp as a temporary thing, and then we're going to hook it up to the tractor, and we'll go from there. So a little bit of backstory. We had last fall a hurricane come through. It was Hurricane Fiona. I think it was probably the most damaging hurricane to hit the Atlantic Canada in history. And we personally were without power for 13 days, and that was a long time to not have electrical service. We do have a smaller gas-powered generator we are able to use, and that was incorporated into our house and our homestead, and it did most things. And then we had another PTO generator, which we were able to use a little bit. And then when we were using that, we were able to use our well and stuff. So between the two, we did have kind of some backups. So we were by no means in really rough shape. We were able to, you know, keep our freezers going, keep our fridges and that going. So we didn't lose anything. It was just really inconvenient. I mean, definitely we're doing some, you know, we were able to run our PTO generator and run a load of laundry, and then, but certainly weren't running the dryer or anything like that. A lot of cooking on a little hot plate and stuff like that, but you know, all things considered, it could have been a lot worse. But that was really the writing on the wall, that we needed a little bit more permanent solution. The PTO generator wasn't ours. It was something a friend had bought and had left here, and we were just borrowing it. So that was really fortunate. So anyways, so this is our brand new, it's a Baumalight KR30. And basically this will produce 30 kilowatts, which is way more than we need on the farm, but it's the smallest size you can get that comes with the Display Master. So that's this panel here, and then that will just give you more information about your setup. And I think this was a little bit higher quality made, and I'll just take you around here. You can see the hookups we have here. So that's the back of the unit here, and I have fastened this into a concrete pad. So I did do videos of me installing this, so I'm gonna put those out here at some point once I've had time to go through them all. It's a pretty busy time of this of the year, so I've got all the footage, and I've got it so showing everybody everything, the mounts installed and all that good stuff. It was an interesting project, had some troubles along the way, and but basically, so KR30 Baumalight, we're going to hook this up to the tractor here. Basically, my understanding is that for every 2 horsepower. You can produce about a kilowatt. So I have a 46 horsepower tractor, so it is a little bit undersized for the generator, but at the same time we're not going to be using 30 kilowatts of power. So you know, we are able to use this tractor you know, efficiently, and the generator will never come close to needing the 60 horsepower. It's only a 46 horsepower. And then the PTO, the horsepower at the PTO is a little bit less than that. I think it's around 42, if I remember correctly. But basically, so in theory, if you go by that, we can produce about 21 kilowatts of power, which is again going to be lots. I mean, the electrician was joking that, well, you know, we'll have the dryer running and we'll be roasting a chicken at the same time. Not that we'd be looking to do that, but, you know, basically, you know, we just don't want to be caught in another hurricane without power for, you know, 2+ weeks. So yeah, so the next part is we just need to hook up the PTO here. So we're going to attach the shaft to that, and then we're going to hook this up, and then I'll take you over to our disconnect. And here we have a surprise chicken.
We were going to tease you. We were going to tease you and have someone sneak up on you and photobomb you, but it didn't work out.
Yeah, we've got this is one of our Polish chickens. And this is one of our older 3-year-old commercial laying hens.
This is Jelly.
Yeah, let's hold on. So this is Jelly. And what's that chicken called?
What's she called? Roxy.
Roxy. All right, so let's hook up the PTO shaft here. So since this is the first time I'm using this, I see, oh, there is a little bit of grease on the inside here. Just want to make sure we've got some grease inside the shaft. And these are keyed, so you can't put them together in the wrong fashion. Okay, so this is a pretty long PTO shaft. Definitely not on the lighter side. So on the list of things to do is to build a small shed to go around this generator, but it's been a busy year with the other projects that we've had on the go. Okay, so basically, anyone that's unfamiliar, the PTO shaft is a way to transfer power between the tractor and the unit or the implement you're using. It has splines on it that match up. This is a 540 revolution a minute PTO shaft. You can see, if you look here, it's got a coarser spline on it. If you're using a 1000 PTO shaft, it's much finer. I haven't really had much opportunity to use those. We have my family has a flail mower that uses that. I think we used to have a round baler that was 1000 revolutions a minute, but this one is 540. So let's hook up the tractor here. So I could have maybe done a little bit better job of lining up the tractor here. One of the things that I measured when I built the pad is, you can see here, I'd say that shaft is just a little bit out of alignment, so I should have the tractor just a little bit this way, and let's check the alignment this way. So this was the one I was more worried about, is you want to have a good, nice level alignment from when you're going to your tractor to that, because you don't want to have that on an angle, because especially when you're running this for hours and hours, you don't want to be adding stress to that universal joint on the PTO shaft. And here we got a chicken underneath there. Okay, so that's everything. We've got the power there. I mean, I'm just going to be running this for a few minutes just to make sure that the power works, that everything's good about the generator. So, I mean, I could technically have the tractor a little bit straighter here, but you know, for a couple minute test, I'm not going to stress about it. It's pretty close. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is, when we were designing this, we ran this cable, this protected tech cable, and we ran it under the ground here, and you can see it connects over to the house here, and we have a transfer switch over there. So basically it is connected here, comes to here, and then we're going to make the join to the box here. So this is where you're making your connection here, and I believe these are an Anderson style plug, and there was a cable that came with it. What else can it do here? So this would be like if you were hooking up a welder, you can hook up regular 120 volts. So this is all circuit breakers. This is the main, that's the main breaker here. So the order of instructions to hook this up and to get it operational is you basically have your tractor off, you have it all hooked up, you engage the PTO at a low revolutions, you get it up to speed to where the display is going to be telling us that it's going at 120 volts, and then from there we're going to turn the breaker on the generator, and then we will engage the transfer switch on the house. So we have a proper transfer switch here, which is definitely what you want to be doing, and what that does is it makes sure we're 100% disconnected from our service utility, and you want to be very sure of that, because you don't want to be engaging the line in a power outage, because if there's service people out there working on the line, the last thing you want to be doing is potentially hurting them, and that's also, I think, very illegal. So yeah, so you need to have a proper transfer switch. Okay. So this is the Anderson style plug, and you can see it has a nice, you know, chunky disconnect here. And I'll just get it in position, and I'll take you around here. So this is all keyed, you can't put it in wrong. And see if I can do this with one hand. But basically, it goes in. You know, that's a pretty solid connection there. And yeah, that's connected. So we've got that hooked in, connect. So we have our breaker off there. This is just the breakout box. This is the cord that came with the generator, and this is my electrician's. That's going to get fastened to a wall when we build the shed here. Okay, so now we're at the stage where we're going to actually turn on the generator. So I'll point this in here, and we'll be able to see the you'll be able to see the generator start, and then we'll come out and we'll check the voltage here. One thing I forgot to do here is this is not supposed to be turning. So you can see here there is a there's basically something there that you can fasten this around something else, and then that will keep this this baffle or shroud from turning. So that is okay, so we'll just unhook this. Now you can see when I start up the PTO here, you'll see that the even though the PTO shaft's turning, this will not be turning. And the point of that is it just doesn't give you any opportunity to get anything caught in the PTO shaft. And this is very dangerous. You don't want to mess around with this. Flip the switch on the transfer switch. There we go. Switch is flipped. If anyone's curious, we're running the tractor saying it's running at 520 RPMs as far as the PTO. So here's a look from this side. Okay, so now we're gonna go flip the transfer switch and make sure that everything works. So if everything's installed correctly and life is good, this would be simulating, you know, a full test of the generator when we would in theory have power. I mean, right now it's a nice day, but it's gonna get pretty crappy tonight. So here's our transfer switch. So basically, the only way that this can be engaged is here's our utility power. So we have a 200 amp service, and here is our 100 amp line coming from our generator. So this is a disconnect. There's literally physically no way to turn this on until this is turned off. So right here, so we're gonna flip off basically our electrical service. So now in theory, all the power's out. We can then flip this over, and you can see there, now we're able to turn on the breaker here. So here we are flipping on. That is a little bit tight there. Okay, so now we have, we're on generator power. Let's go check the generator. So if this happens in the middle of the night or a snowstorm, I'll have to try and take you guys along for the ride on maybe not such a nice day. Basically, it was showing that it's producing about 5 kilowatts of power, and let's just take you in here, and we'll show here. We've got the lights on, so everything's working there. And let me just check my compressor here and see. Maybe I'll turn it on, and we'll see the increase in the draw here. So if we see the compressor turn on, so the compressor's up and running, and now let's go check and see the draw. So I would expect that's a pretty big compressor. It was part of the purchase of the property. They had that. They used to do spray painting. Okay, let's have a look. Turn off the air compressor, and then we'll put everything back. So that's great. I mean, we had this professionally installed, so I'm not surprised. Everything works. I mean, the electrician, you know, good electrician. We've used him a number of times before. I didn't expect anything other than for this to work. So okay, so to reverse this is basically we're just going to reverse the process. So I'm going to go over, we're going to turn the power off at the transfer switch here, and we'll go back to utility powder. I'll go and turn off the tractor, the generator power, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so we're gonna turn off, and I don't know if you'll be able to hear it, but we might hear a drop in the tractor just in the sound of it. Okay, so that is the generator power is no longer on. Now we can slide this over. So again, you can see how that is, there's just no way to turn that on until you have this off. So now we're gonna go back to utility power. Okay, so back on utility power. Okay, utility power is back on. I mean, we'll check the lights here, but I don't expect any issues. Yeah, I can see lights are on. Okay, so now we turn off the generator, and then we'll idle down the tractor and turn it off. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna call that a success. I'm pretty happy. I mean, I expected that, but you know, until you try it, it's still, you know, still good to try things. If anyone's wondering why the seat was up, these tractors have a safety switch where if you have the PTO engaged and you leave the seat, the PTO, actually the tractor will shut off. So that's a safety feature. So the workaround for that is if you're running something where you're not going to be sitting in the tractor, is you actually have to disengage the seat switch by just lifting the seat up. So that would be when you're, you know, using an implement where you're going to be outside the tractor. And again, you know, obviously going without saying, you have to be very careful when you're doing these sorts of things. You need to, you know, the shroud on the PTO, very important. Keeping your fingers clear, very important. All this stuff, you know, if you do it right, you know, and you have your brains and your wits about you, you know, you're going to be fine. But, you know, you need to be very careful because, yeah, you're dealing with heavy machinery and you're dealing with a lot of electricity. But again, so we had everything professionally done, you know, proper transfer switches in place. So I'm pretty confident, you know, that this is all set up, you know, to code. Everyone's happy. I'm not going to hurt anyone. I'm not going to hurt myself. Not going to hurt my family. And, you know, I'm not really looking forward to when we have to use the generator a lot because, you know, you are burning diesel. But, you know, it's a nice assurance that we have that kind of resiliency into our homestead. So, yeah, now we're going to just go, I'll take you outside here now that's a little bit quieter. So really, all I'm going to do now, I'm going to unhook the shroud so it can go, and I'll unhook the PTO because I don't need it sticking out. I'm going to put the tarp back on, and we're going to call this a successful test, and hopefully I do not need to use this generator anytime soon. But it's nice to know, it's a nice thing to have, and especially when we're storing thousands of dollars of product, or even into the tens of, like when we're running when we have our apple storage on the go and we're running that, you know, we're talking about tens of thousands of dollars worth of apples and cider and other foodstuffs. You know, we're just not in a position, like if you lose your freezer, that's devastating, and you know, it's a lot. If we were to lose power for another 2 weeks, you know, in a season where it's then warm, you know, you're looking at all your apples spoiling, and we've got sometimes like 5 freezers full of cider here. So yeah, so I'll set up the we'll unhook the PTO here. So when you're unhooking the PTO, there's just a key that basically there's a groove cut in the shaft, and you just need to put that key, push that key in, and then that will allow you to disengage the shaft. So I'll make sure that this metal cable is back on here, so I can use it next time. So I'm just gonna find that key, push it in. That's disconnected from the tractor, and disconnected from the generator. There we go. Put that here. And I might as well disconnect this as well. So see if I can do this with one hand. Okay, so if you want to see what this looks like. Okay. Okay, so I'm just gonna put the tarp back on it, and I just have some chain there to weight it down. But yeah, I'm really happy that that worked. It was a, you know, that was definitely a big investment for us on our farm. But you know, after having no power for 13 days, you know, and having my family here, having our products here, you know, I just don't want to get into that ever again. And whether you believe in climate change or not, it certainly does seem like you know, extreme weather events are happening more often. And you know, we've been on this property for 5 years now, and we've already gone through two hurricanes. I think I've put on 13 days of generator, not 100% usage, but 13 days of no power in Fiona. Dorian, I think, was 3 days, and then I think we've had maybe 3 or 4 other power outages just due to snowstorms or other weather-related events. I mean, it's just a fact of life of living in this kind of area. And you know, we're looking at the barrel of, you know, 50 millimeters of rain tomorrow. I don't expect we're going to lose power. It just sounds like it's just going to be rain. If we do and we have to turn this on, you might see me out here with the rain jacket taking another video. Anyways, if anyone has any questions about this, if you know, I'm by no means am I an expert on this, but I did try and do my research when I was looking into this. You know, Baumalight seemed like a pretty good company. I watched a lot of videos and tried to do a lot of research. You know, if I can answer any questions, you know, feel free to drop me a question below. Do my best to answer them. And feel free to subscribe if you're interested in what we have on the go in our homestead. If you look over here, we're going to be pouring some cement over there. That's going to be a new compost bin system we're building over there. And we've got some cement going in over there in front of our building. And there's our solar panels, by the way. You've probably seen those in other videos. But yeah, we're gonna have a lot of stuff on the go, and it's soon gonna be apple picking season time here. And it's the end of August now, so our apples are starting to, you know, size up, get some color to them. Got a lot of Honeycrisp to pick this year, a lot of other apples. It's been a challenging apple year, but you know, we're gonna be doing that, making a lot of cider. So anyways, thanks for watching, and have a good day.